Hello, world.
Hello, hello, hello.
That's Ms.Glam, and you got your girl Mohazel, and we're just two badass besties.
Yaddy, 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 yaddy.
That's an insider. Episode 72. She is teasing tech support. Ask him the question, are you looking for another job? What you think he doing?
All he's doing is proving that we don't need him.
Right?
We're going to replace him.
I had your sound. The levels were up.
How was it in post?
I mean, decent. It was good, yeah. You know how they say that, go ahead and leave. You will be replaced. Oh, we're just messing with you, tech support.
No, we're not.
I'm messing with you. Ms. Glam said, no, she's not. She's standing her ground. Ms. Glam.
Yes.
You ready to get into this weekly delight?
I am.
All right. Weekly Delight. It's where we take a person, place, a thing, inspirational quote. It can be books. It can be food. It can be music. It can be sexy clothes. Ass out.
Ass out.
Ass out. Just whatever is keeping us pumped and getting to Friday. You ready?
Ready.
All right, Ms. Glam, you're up first.
My sister had surgery and it went well, so that's my weekly delight.
Amen.
So we've been taking care of her in her road to recovery.
Have you been fixing her meals?
No.
Have you been, cleaning her house and
no
waiting on her hand and foot?
No.
I mean, that's how you're supposed to do it.
No.
That's not how you do it.
Mm-mm.
That's not how sisters do it.
No, not how we do it. So as she's going, because I was with her before she went to surgery.
Sure.
And as, they take you back in the surgery, they
roll you in that bed.
They say, go ahead, give them, last minute kisses and hugs. Go ahead and, because, they asked about relation stuff. So they knew I was her sister. All right, give her one last kiss goodbye before she goes to surgery.
Yeah.
And we just looked at each other and we have that smirk of, I don't want to kiss you. Like, no, I'm good. I'll pass. And so the nurses look at us like, huh? Why y'all looking at each other like that? Obviously you care because you're here. Obviously she wants you here.
Right. You love each other, clearly.
And we were like, we don't do that.
Yeah.
No, we don't do that.
Do anything for love,
you,
but
bye.
you won't do that, right?
Love you, bye.
Yeah.
See you in a few. See you in an hour. Bye. I'll be in the waiting room. But yeah, you could tell that the nurses were highly confused.
Right.
But,
right.
That's how my family
Y'all
get
understood it. That was an insider.
Yes.
That was an insider.
That's why. See, now you know. When you be like, give me a hug, and I look at you crazy, this is why.
I mean, but you ain't tell me that. You just let me look like I'm unloved. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a part of the insider. I'm not
Blame
in
my
there.
Parents.
See,
Blame my parents.
See, it's at times like this, I tell you.
Blame my parents.
That blood,
like,
man.
even now, if I was like, Mommy, get away from me.
Then why do you do it to your niece?
It's different.
How's it? She blood.
I know. But I don't.
She
I
fam.
do. But half time I be telling her to get away from me. Get away from me. She only wants to be underneath me when she wants something. Or she's sick. That's the only two reasons.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing. But so she's doing well, recovering. She's healing pretty quickly.
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's good. And she's happy with the results?
Yes.
All right. That's it. My weekly delight. Man, I had one and then I changed it today. I had 2 COVID deliveries at my door. COVID deliveries. So the first one was soft cookies. You enjoyed them soft cookies.
I did.
They were delivered.
Yummy.
I got a doorbell ring and they dashed.
What's a COVID delivery?
COVID delivery means you don't need to see me. I just want to tell you, here's the package. I'm going to my car so I don't catch nothing. Bye. It was just a random drive-by.
You know who dropped the cookies
yes,
off? Are you sure? Because I ate that cookie.
Yes, and it was good. I promise it was safely made. The beautiful being made soft cookies. She asked for our address yesterday, and like clockwork came and dropped them off. And
they were very
the
yummy.
Daylight was gone. And they were very soft and yummy and fluffy. She's just dropping off love gifts to different people. And so it's a part of the film community that I'm with, and so she's just dropping them off to different people that she felt
this
touched.
Rubs off on Mohazel, and she
Man,
drops
I
off
thought
love,
about it.
Love gifts to me.
Listen, I thought about it for 2.5 seconds. I was like, wow, that is so sweet. Such an old soul, and I should do that. And as I ate those cookies,
make sure that tech support makes peanut butter cookies for moi.
Anyways, but the second,
which means I ain't getting no damn peanut butter cookies,
bruh, nah. So listen, back in the day, you used to. You got your just due. It is my turn. You used to get anything you wanted when you came to our apartment. It's my turn. Where are my cookies? You used to get fresh cookies. cookies.
Yeah.
I get packaged cookies.
I got cookies because you lived with your well,
you ain't gotta make it. You gotta boo. You drop it off. I don't care who makes it.
You can do meals, but he doesn't bake.
I will take those as well. I don't have to have cookies. I don't discriminate. You know, I put anything in my tummy.
He cooks all the time.
I take free food
all the time, and it's prettily plated.
Nice. My second COVID delivery was Barack Obama, A Promised Land book.
Who bought you a book?
My mama.
Oh,
she just dropped it off. She says, I thought you might want to read it because she knew I read Michelle. So she got it and dropped it off and took off into the daylight. So I like the encouragement of reading. Listen, I've been reading. I just don't read as many as you. But I actually did want to read that book. That was definitely one because I've read one of his books before, and I'm
about to go on a hole. I'm supposed to read 50 books this year, 52 books every year, and I think I'm at 40. Okay. I gotta go into a hole.
You gotta go into a hole, but you can make it happen.
Technically, I got 30 plus days.
Mm-hmm.
I can read 30 plus books.
You can make it happen.
Book a day.
I'm almost done with our book, Lovecraft Country 2.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna read this weekend.
That's all right. No. Not you. Take your time, but I'm just letting you know I'm almost done. Anywho, you ready to get into this topic, girl?
I am.
All right. Netflix, no chill. Pretty much with this topic. Black Love. There's this program called Black Love, and there's a couple on there, Devale and Kay. And he's a former NFL player. They were called Sweethearts. Yeah, he's a former NFL player. He played for the Cleveland Browns and the Seahawks. And they were featured on Black Love, where it's different couples that talk about different topics in regard to relationships. And they have a podcast. I was introduced to them through Black Love, but we're on this topic because they have a podcast called Deadass Podcast. Shout out to the title, Deadass Podcast. And on this particular episode, they talked about monogamy and marriage. So we are going to play a clip.
As a woman, because I don't want to say it's a man versus woman thing, but a lot of women do complain, oh, my husband's always on me. Why is he always on me? Mm-hmm. If sex is going to be a chore for you that you don't really want to do, why do women constantly push monogamy on men? If you know that you don't want to have to deal with him all the time just wanting you, why do you push monogamy on men?
Well, who's to say I pushed anything on anybody?
Well, we know that you pushed monogamy on me.
I pushed monogamy. I forced you to get married to me?
Time out. I didn't say you forced me to get married, but did you not say to me that you wanted to be engaged and you wanted to be married before you lived with me? You didn't say that?
I want $1 billion. That don't mean I'm going to get it. I can want something, but not...
You right now you're dodging the question.
Nobody pressed you to do it. Yes, is that something I wanted? Yes, it was. But
you didn't press me. Are you gonna lie now to the people because we talking about sex?
Devale,
you're gonna lie now to the people?
Devale, knowing.
Kadeen, you didn't want monogamy?
Of course I did.
So then why are you avoiding the question?
That's not avoiding the question. I'm saying, does that mean because I wanted and I requested that you were gonna deliver it? Like nobody pressed you for that.
Time out. You just said you wanted it and requested it. Do you not hear yourself?
I can make a request. Is the request going to be granted?
Am I not granting you monogamy?
You are granting it to me.
So this is my question. Look at
your boy. Look at your boy.
This is my question. If you wanted monogamy,
okay,
why would you want monogamy if sex is a chore for you? That's the question. You're avoiding the question.
I'm not avoiding the question, but at first you said women or in general me specifically are pushing monogamy on somebody. Okay, yes, that's something that I wanted, but I didn't press you for it and be like, Devale, I'm gonna hold a gun to your head to propose to me.
Time out.
Also, let me finish. I don't feel like I was adequately prepared for marriage. And I've said that before because if I knew that marriage and monogamy was going to involve me trying to meet you where you were at sexually for years to come, then I probably would have reevaluated it if I wanted to be monogamous anyway.
So that's just a little snippet of their podcast and kind of what they were talking about. But there was a response made. And a Mr. Derrick Jaxn. He is a self-love ambassador, an author, and he also married his college sweetheart and has at least a kid or two. And so his response was pretty much, talking about pressure versus setting standards and men not understanding when women have growth. We're going to play that clip.
There's a difference between a woman that is pressuring you and a woman that is setting a standard. Pressure is like trying to coerce over and over again, repetitive begging or, repositioning of something that they've already asked, you've already said no to. But by the sounds of what she said and the fact that he didn't refute it or anything like that, it sounds to me like almost like whenever you go to like a car dealership, you're interested in buying a car from somebody, they may let you test drive it for free, and that's cool. But then at some point they may say, you know what? No more test driving, no more enjoying this car. The price of this car is $100,000. That's not pressure. That's a standard that's being communicated to you, because you have every right to go ahead and walk from point A to point B if you want to, or go choose another car for, $20,000 or something that's more budget friendly for you. But if you want to continue enjoying that car, the price is whatever it is. That sounds more like where she stood. And that's what I hear a lot of whenever women are saying that their standards are X, Y, and Z. But a lot of resentment comes from, I think, from guys who don't understand growth. And the price you pay for loving a woman that is growing is needing to adjust whenever these standards come up. These things are being communicated, and it's not quite what it was whenever y'all first began, but it's indicative of a woman that's learning more about life, learning more about herself, and she's acting on that. But if she really loves you, she's going to do what this woman is doing, Kadeen is doing in this situation, and say, hey, I'm going here with my life, I'm going here with my spirituality, or whatever the case may be that the standard is coming to protect, and I want to bring you with me if you want to come. But I didn't get pressure from that. Second thing that stuck out to me was how he characterized monogamy as something that was not really his choice, in just one of the choices that's on the table as far as he's concerned. So think of it like this. What if you heard a guy say, y'all women out there, y'all be pressuring us and pushing us, to be heterosexual. But then whenever we be with you, you don't want to give up the cheeks that much. You're going to be like, well, I'm going to be like, whoa, wait, what did you just say? First off, what are the alternatives? And at the point of marriage, which they're at, from what I can tell anyway, at the point of marriage, why wasn't this just as much of your choice as it was hers before you even met her? But maybe that was just a wrong word choice or something like that. Who knows? I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, because the biggest takeaway was the conversation around sex. Whenever she was talking about, maybe I wasn't ready for marriage whenever we first began. I didn't know these things were going to affect my sex drive. And it could be just me, but what came off was that he was still caught up in a lot of frustration and maybe some of the words that she used or something like that. But he totally missed the opportunity to hear what she was really saying, which is, as time has gone on, as we've gotten closer, as I've gone through life experiences, not only my sex drive, but the things that impact my sex drive has drastically changed. And that's what happens with a lot of women. I've been in that boat of men who have had somewhat of a cultivated ignorance based on our sexual experience before marriage. This is one of the drawbacks to having sex before marriage, by the way. Not even being religious. This is strictly practical, because we set the tone for relationship sex with the kind of sex we was having whenever we were single.
Okay, so now we have two different spectrums.
But I like that it's because, like, the first one was the husband, and then you have a guy's take on what the husband is saying, because clearly he's not understanding what his wife is saying,
and she's saying it. I think she's being real clear.
She said exactly what Derrick Jaxn was saying. He
understood it.
Yes.
Yeah. And what's interesting is he's married also. So it's not like this is a single man trying to get some cool points. He's been there, done that. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention too, Mr. Derrick Jaxn, just like Mr. Devale, played football in college. He did not go pro. But I mean, so they have a lot of similarities. Yeah. And for all we know, and I don't know, that's being assumptive, they may have had similar backgrounds in regard to, how men are raised or presumptions. But there's still some similarities to where he could easily see this man's point and take a side, but yet he understands this woman's point.
He understands what she's saying. He's listening to what she's saying.
Whose point of view did you enjoy the most or agreed with the most? And what were some ahas or some interesting takes that you got from this topic? Because how did we get this topic? It was from your sissy, right?
Yeah, my sissy showed us when we were getting our pedicures.
Yeah. So she brought it up, but it was interesting enough to bring to the show. So what are your thoughts?
Let's be honest, you can see both sides, because at the end of the day, they live in their perception.
Sure.
Clearly, the husband doesn't see all what she's going through. It didn't sound like he did a lot around the house, from my perspective.
Right. He was the provider, but he wasn't the homemaker.
Yes. Yeah. Or even...
Or just doing his part around the house.
Yes.
Yeah, I get you.
It didn't seem like that was a dynamic.
Being a provider was enough.
Yes. Yeah. It didn't sound like he understood what she was saying, because clearly she was going, I'm raising kids. I'm doing,
I work just as hard as you, just differently.
To me, when he was talking to her, like, what the hell are you doing other than, like...
He downplays it.
Yes.
He downplays it like, you're the lucky one. one. You're not out here taking the hits. I have to go physically work out, and then I got to, get hit, and, every score I make is money making. It's stressful. All these things, right? Because NFL is stressful and it can be a short-lived career, right? But raising children, molding minds, keeping a home, dealing with the stress of being a single mom and trying to be supportive from afar, worrying about your man. I mean, she has stressors too, and they're valid, but it's downplayed because it may not be physically strenuous.
Well, yeah, and I think
his job.
He was.
Right?
I mean, it was just. To me, it came across like you have nothing else other to do than to.
I got a question.
Why aren't you ready to give me some?
Is
type
it
of thing.
Macho attitude or just lack of understanding her side?
I took it from a lack of understanding because it did come across that he loves her, and the fact that they can have these open conversations and they're still married. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I don't think it was malintent at all. I think it is truly a lack of understanding.
Sure.
And then when they're having this conversation, he's so solidified in his I'm right and this is why I believe that when she's trying to explain, he's not hearing it because he's so I'm digging in defending that the only thing he's hearing is, all right, she stopped talking, defend. Stop talking, defend. Mm-hmm. Stop talking, defend.
Yeah.
Versus let me process the words that she is saying for understanding versus let's win this argument.
Right. One of the interesting parts is how he was mentioning the trickery or, the pushing.
That's not trickery.
And I don't think so. I 100%, because I feel like to me, if I were a man and a woman,
you still have a choice.
For 2 seconds that I love this woman. Okay. Because if I wouldn't, that shouldn't be on the table of an issue anyway, because I wouldn't be with you if I didn't love you. Mm-hmm. Right. But if you're giving your demands, as he is trying to make it seem, you still have a choice.
You have a choice.
You could just as much push back. And if you're a worthy man, maybe she'll realize it comes to senses. Like maybe
or maybe there's a compromise to be made.
Or a compromise. Like, you know what? I don't feel like getting married right now, but I need you to know that you could be, and I feel strongly that you are the one. Give me patience to get there. That's not fair to me. Like could have been a conversation.
Yeah.
And I get that they were both young. That plays into it. And being a young couple myself, I can understand where men sometimes can get confused. It wasn't on my mind. Now, don't get me wrong. People pressured when y'all gonna, but I didn't want that because honestly,
shit, they do that shit now.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And it still happens. And that's the other thing too. He don't even know if this young lady was saying it because maybe she was pressured. Like to say that as she forced it. And that's kind of.
And I think some of it too is growth happens. You change because life happens. Sure. And life experiences change who you are. I'm not the same person who I was in college. I sure as hell ain't the same person who I was in high school. At your core, yes. But your viewpoints, because your experiences color all of that.
Yeah.
You mature, you get older, you have more experiences.
Why do women push monogamy on men? That was the original question. Why do women require monogamy?
I don't want to die, bitch.
That might just be the answer. And that's the end of the show, folks. But why is it such a push?
Here's the thing is each person has their own. For me, I don't share. What's mine is mine. If it ain't mine, then go on and give it to whoever the hell it is.
Right.
That's me. I know some people who don't give a shit. For me, in a relationship, it needs to be me and you. We're a team. We're a unit.
Yes.
Because
it's so much more than just the physical.
Yeah. Whose team are you on? Mine or hers?
Right.
It's not up for debate because either you on my team or you can kick rocks.
With flip-flops. I feel you. I definitely 100% agree. If you're in love, there's an emotional connect. And it seems like when a woman is standing her ground and saying that I want us to be exclusive, she's essentially saying that her emotional connection to you, this is deeper. It's almost like saying, I'm committed to being deeper with you and only you. This gentleman and gentlemen who believe in that thought, they're saying that you're pushing me to just have sex with one person. It's such a two different thought process
because for them,
they have the connection.
But I think for men, I'm not speaking for all men,
right.
But I've heard men say like they can have sex and it not mean anything. And they say women can't do that. That's not true. Women can do that. But men can't handle that. And if women do that, then labels get attached to that woman.
Correct.
Because they say women can't separate their emotions. And I just think that feeds into the stereotype or the perception that allows you to do what you want to do and keeps your woman not doing what, because she can do the same thing as you.
Yeah.
But if I feed you this line, then you get to stay home while I get to go do what I want to do.
Right.
Because it's different for me. I can separate my emotions. No, it ain't different.
Do women truly pressure men to marry them? And do men feel forced to decide?
I mean, I'm going to give a Ms.Glam answer. It depends. I mean, do I know or read about situations of you will marry me or shotgun weddings because someone got knocked the hell up? Yeah. But at the end of the day, you still have a choice. No, you walk away. And I get the sense of I felt pressure because I didn't want to lose that person. But at a healthy relationship, y'all have a discussion and you figure it out. Because marriage is supposed to be a lifetime commitment. So I don't know why someone would commit or make that decision when they don't fully feel it.
Sure.
I've never done it, so I don't know. But I would think that if I made that decision, it would be because I believed it, you know, yes, this is someone who I truly want to spend the rest of my life with, not they making me. Like, I wouldn't want to make that type of commitment with that mindset. Because I feel like that's the energy you're starting off with. Sure. And that sounds just like bad juju of, well, I guess, versus yay type of thing.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
No, I agree. I understand where you're coming from. Here's the thing. What's the difference between a woman saying, marry me or I gotta go, versus a man who decides to propose, and if a woman says no, then I'm done? What's the difference?
Or better yet,
why is it the man can then, that's a pressure.
Or better yet, I'm ready to be intimate now. If you're not, it's been how many days? Like how many dates? Like that I'm gone.
He's quick to jump to the assumption that women readily do it, when men also readily do it. I don't even know if Mr. Devale pressured her into having intimate relationship, right?
Yeah.
Not to say all men do that, but if they're clicheing women in the conversation, let's cliche men in the conversation.
When you were in high school, I had an older guy who was like a brother who sat me down. Here's the things that these high school boys gonna say to you.
Yep.
If you love me, you will.
Yep.
They don't mean that shit.
Right. Let them hold out and see if that works.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then you'll know, you know.
For women, it's seen as it's important piece.
Yeah.
Whereas for men, oh, why'd you go do that? She kind of made me. Like, it's it's a scapegoat.
It's other people in your relationship.
Yes.
And especially when you're younger, it's very impressionable and and can affect how you guys move about. So the next question, why are women held accountable for low sex drive later on in a marriage when females attribute lack of sex to being tired from duties that husbands don't help with, whether it's cooking or raising kids?
I think men forget the things they did and we talked about this one episode, when they were boyfriends, when they were trying to still win you. When you're a boyfriend, you're constantly trying to win your significant other over, because they ain't locked down yet, that perception. But when they put a ring on it and then you sign that piece of paper, now you mine. There becomes a time where sometimes people forget that people still need to be pursued.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
You still have to try. You still have to do those sweet things and those things that you did as a boyfriend, that reminding of, this is why.
That sounds like the Nicole and Boris episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why you fell in love with me type of thing. It can get bogged down with the day-to-day, especially when you have kids. I got one. We're a tribe. It's a co-parenting thing.
She's almost a teen, or pretty much a teen right now.
Yes.
So when they're younger versus they're older, is it still the same tired, or shouldn't it be less tiresome the older they get? I can see if they're babies. That's a lot of attention. But at a certain point, she
It's
can bathe
different.
herself. He or
Yeah,
she can bathe
it's a
themselves.
different type of tired. So when they're younger, yeah, they need you more.
Sure.
But when they're older, you know, like right now I'm in the preteen, early teen stage. Now it's more of you know, I still got to stay on top of education and grades and double check and things like that. But that child's schedule is jam packed. The running around is a job in itself.
Okay, fair enough. Keeping up
and
with
then she has activities, but you don't get to check out. I still need to know all her friends. I need to know what's going on in her life. Though you're still a parent.
So you go from being just, a caretaker to almost like an investigator. Like, because I mean, they can physically feed themselves, so that's one less thing. They can bathe themselves. You don't have to teach
she
them
can
the ABCs.
cook certain things. Yeah,
You ain't
so
gotta
like
feed her too.
Yeah, so like on, certain days of the week, like usually Friday nights is you on your own night. I'm sure there's leftovers in there or there's something that you can whip up. Baby girl, get at it because I'm at 4
But
o'clock
that
nap
freedom
time.
is then changed to, but who are you texting?
I mean, you have more time to do things because they don't want to be bothered with you as much. So you can, like I think on the episode, they're saying their kids are older. They don't want to be bothered with them. So they're starting to have date nights and stuff again.
Yeah, they're a little bit older.
So you can do that because you can leave them home and go out and then come back type thing. You still have to give time to your kids.
Okay, but how's that equated into sex? Their sleep, you can't get it in? Or why can't the husband understand when it is something that she can communicate?
Because I don't know I think it's different what drives men and what drives women. The sex drive for a man is very different from the sex drive from a woman in most cases. Most cases for a woman, it is, if I'm tired, I don't feel like it. Like, you can walk in the bedroom naked, but shit, I'm tired. Oh, that looks good. Good night. Especially if there was no action behind it. But like, what's that Mr. Clean commercial where they show the husband, cleaning up the house and all that stuff and she's getting turned on?
Tell me the commercial because I haven't seen commercials since 2017. So describe the commercial. I'm following you. Tell me the commercial.
So it's a Mr. Clean commercial. Okay. I can't remember what it
like. But she's looking at Mr. Clean?
No, she's looking at her husband clean the house. And she's like getting turned on because he's cleaning.
Yes.
And think about it. When, as a grown woman who goes to work and has so much shit to do, if you come home and your husband has cleaned the house, drop them drawers. Thank you. That is just so sexy. But think about it. In high school, if he had cleaned your room, that would have been like...
My mama do that. I mean, now she doesn't. And just for the record, my mama doesn't. But I'm just being funny.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need it.
Exactly. It's just different.
It ain't my house.
What turns you on, now. So I think it goes to that. Whereas, I know tech support is kind of zoned out. Ain't even listened to us.
He is texting.
From the standpoint of a guy, what turns them on in high school and college and when they're grown, like you walk out naked and like they don't really change unless, am I saying it wrong? Does it change?
Okay, the question is,
exactly.
Hang on, the question is, can a man get a low sex drive because maybe they're overworked? Let's say the woman's lazy. Let's say she just sits on the couch, ain't doing nothing. I come home and I still gotta clean. Should she then judge him on it?
But I think
if he was the homemaker, because there are some men that stay home.
Yeah.
And she was but he's tired. I'm raising your kids and I'm doing all these things. I'm tired. Would it change?
But see, I don't know if the woman wouldn't understand. Does that make sense? Most women know that their sex drive depends on other factors. It's not just having a naked guy in front of me who's cute. I think women are more understanding to, he's tired or whatever,
give him a break.
Versus a man because they're not understanding those dynamics.
Sure.
So I think it's more from the standpoint of lack of understanding, like being in that person's shoes. That's causing that bumping of the head.
The question I was trying to ask, but I appreciate that point. Tech support. If a man was the breadwinner and he didn't understand the woman who's the homemaker that's tired, could that same man, for whatever reason, if the roles were reversed, feel what she feels and have a lower sex drive He said, you're saying it's possible. Now we're flipping to Mr. Derrick's section.
Yes.
Mr. Derrick brought up the point of test driving and why you shouldn't test drive. So my question to you is test driving misleading or necessary for the next level in a relationship?
I go back to, it depends on the person.
Okay.
For me?
Yes, let's talk about you first.
Personally.
Sure.
Test driving is necessary.
Okay.
Because here's the thing is, you can speak on things, but not having known an experience, you don't know. For instance,
But
in
is
high
this
school,
experience for the relationship or for you to grow?
both.
Okay, keep going.
Because how can you speak on things that you haven't experienced? Does that make sense? Like, you can say what you think you would do in that situation, but you don't know until you've been through it. While I understand, and I'm saying do what works for you, test driving is important for me because then you're able to have those conversations live with real experiences and emotions to back it up versus hypothetically, sure. And then when it comes up, yeah, I changed my mind. And that's their prerogative. But if you experience it and you can talk about it, you're more likely to be accurate in your assessment of how you're going to handle that situation.
Do you think that more women should try it that way with that understanding in mind? Do you think that should be something that women should consider because of the explanation you're giving?
No, I mean, you have to do what's right for you. You have to go what's
but what
right.
if they don't know? You know, keep in mind,
I mean, 'cause
situation is young women.
Yeah,
older women obviously should and may know better.
But this comes in with, you got to look at your beliefs, your maturity. Like, all of those things come in play when you're making decisions like that. So I can't give a blanket statement to all the masses because it's going to be different for everybody. I can only speak for what worked for me.
I don't disagree with test driving. I think there should be limits to this test driving. That's just my 2 cents on it. You know, I don't mind test driving. Like, for instance, I did live with tech support before we got married.
Oh my gosh.
I have mentioned this on podcasts before. But it was with the condition that we were already engaged. I don't know if I would have. Shut up. I don't know if I necessarily would have. I don't have the opportunity to say it, but I don't know, or at least I wasn't thinking about moving in with tech support. I know when we were dating, I wasn't even going to move in with tech support. The reason why I moved in is because we were engaged, and what's the point if we're about to get married a year later? So I didn't mind during that engagement year testing the water, so that way we both go down the aisle, like how you're saying, like you know, and being for sure instead of you waking up and then that whole year is like feeling like you just thought it all over what happened. So I don't mind that, but I feel like we would have to be in a place of deep commitment. Like, I can't be test driving to get you to get to a deep commitment. We'd have to already be in a deep commitment. I would be willing to test drive with training wheels, and we take them training wheels off the deeper we get. That would be my
and I mean, when I say test driving, that's what I mean. You have to be in a space where it makes sense. You don't,
Yeah, but some people jump into things right away, not in a bad way. And it's not necessarily saying young, old, or whatever stage.
You gotta go what you feel.
Yeah, you should go with what you feel, but how much should there be logic to?
Yes, there has to be a balance.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Yes, definitely a balance. But in terms of what works for one person, what works for you can't do that comparison thing. You'll always be comparison. You'll never. You
not
have
a comparison thing.
Yeah, you have to do what's right for you. And sometimes what works with one relationship won't work in another relationship. So those are things that...
Well, without doing the comparison, I guess the thing is about the communication between the two individuals.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think of it as a comparison thing. I think of it as, if we're both jumping into testing, what does that mean for you? What does that mean for me?
Yes.
And that's where I'm going with the deeper commitment.
It needs to be on that same page.
Yeah, we have to be on that same page, because I don't need you to think that if you get it, we don't need to go here.
Yes.
Right? And what if I don't know that and I just jump in because my heart's in it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I guess that's that premise of what steps need to be taken.
You definitely have to have check-ins in a relationship to see.
No matter which way you go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. So yeah, I agree with that. And
talking about things like, this is why I like podcasts like that or information like that, is because because I ain't never been married. Have a kid in my house, but I haven't birthed a child.
Sure.
I don't know what having infants in the house when you're married feels like and is. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
But it's nice to hear other people's experiences, because then it can be a conversation of, all right, so here's potentially how to navigate these waters or prepare ourselves for when this happens. It's not a sit on it frustration versus, this is what's happening here. We've identified it. Let's talk about it and resolve it.
Really talk about it. There are too many people that all they hear is, when you're going to get married, when you're going to get married, when you're going to get married. Okay, do you want to get married? Yeah, I want to get married. Done. We had the conversation. No, bruh.
No,
who moves into who house?
Yeah.
How many kids? Maybe y'all agree on kids, but the number of kids make a difference. I want 1. You want 6.
Oh,
whoa,
yeah.
bruh. You know,
you can have them 6. They come out of you.
Really have those conversations. It can't be cutesy. It can't be, of course,
Yeah.
I want to have,
and
I want him to have your
and I
eyes
think,
and him
yeah.
have my smile. No, who gives a damn? How
much
kids?
are you helping? Are you changing diapers?
Because they can have all of that and still be bad as hell, and you tired, right? That, like, really get into what is your thought of women working in the home? If I'm the homemaker, you say, you know what, you ain't got to lift a finger, and I'm the homemaker. Do you consider that a real occupation? You know, these are those deep dive conversations, and you're right. I love that particular podcast, so shout out to Sissy for bringing it up, because while we could go back and forth on, you know, I don't agree with him, I agree with her, it brought conversation.
Well, and not just that, like, those are door openers for if you listen to it with your significant others and stuff. What are your thoughts on that? It's an easy segue where you're not just, well, blah, 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 and they feel like off guard. What are you trying to trick me? Type of thing. It's more of a, we listen to it together, and it's a natural conversation that sparks. But I think the only part of that is you have to be open to receive and listen, and not be having the conversation to convince them to feel the way you feel.
Right. What is the livable situation that makes us both happy, continue to be in
or
love,
we
thrive,
can't,
grow, blah, blah, blah. Or part ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but it has to be a healthy conversation, not all right, this is how I feel. You feel this way too, right, boo?
Because you love me.
Yes,
I got you. Or tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Just to get them there, because then that's trapping.
Yeah.
So if women are pressuring, please,
men
and women, be up front with it in regard to that. That's not the time to
you have to be
hold back.
You have to be truly honest and be yourself. That's one thing in your relationship ain't gonna work if you're not yourself, because the person they're in love with or with ain't you. Don't you want someone who wants to be with you?
Right. The gentleman, Mr. Derrick Jaxn, talked about meaningless sex and how, you know, this happens before marriage, and how, you know, this is why he's an advocate for not having sex before marriage, because it is meaningless in the beginning until you get married. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, but the question is sex before marriage meaningless if it is a true and deep relationship? Is there such a thing as evolution to the sex and relationship?
That's a long question.
So so take it bite by bite.
Okay, so I think you can have meaningless sex no matter what. It depends on you. And I think he was talking more from a guy's perspective, I think, versus a woman's perspective. But in both cases, yeah, you can have meaningless sex.
Well, he was more talking about like different relationships and
in a committed relationship.
He was talking about both.
I mean, in a casual relationship, yes. In a meaningful relationship, at times, yes. Because at some point, you may not have been as committed. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning, it might have been a satisfaction thing versus I feel something for you thing. Mm-hmm. From the standpoint of, do I think it's a switch flip of when I get married, now sex is always meaningful? No, because there are times where married people have sex just for the satisfaction when they mad at each other. Doesn't mean they don't love each other, but at this point, go sleep on the couch, but I can't get it from nowhere else, so you finna give me some, now go. Okay. Type of thing. So I don't necessarily think that marriage means you no longer have meaningless sex. It's just a matter of people assume that because you're married, you love each other deep down, so therefore it's never meaningless.
It is a commitment. It's automatically assumed there's the commitment because you did, right?
But just because you're in a committed relationship, to me, doesn't mean you don't have meaningless sex. If that makes sense.
Okay. The thought of, from where he was coming from, is it's an emotional intimacy.
Correct.
Versus just the physical, I'm horny, my testosterone, or I'm horny for a woman too.
Correct.
But, I'm horny, I need my urges, versus
question.
I'm trying to be intimate and be closer to you.
Yes.
I want to be touched. I need to feel loved. I need to feel
Correct.
valued.
So, question.
That was how he was referring it.
You've been in a committed relationship for 20 plus years.
You gonna do the evolution?
Wait a minute.
Is there such thing as
Wait a
evolution?
minute.
Just say yes or no.
Evolution of sex?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
So, because your relationship grows, so sex grows, but you can also have a evolution backwards too.
Okay.
So,
Look at her trying to drop a gem 2 seconds in. Go ahead.
Question. Now we're going to put, Mohazel on the spot. You've been in a committed relationship for 20 plus years.
20 plus years.
Have you ever had meaningless sex in your committed relationship where it was just...
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I need. Proof. Evidence.
Hero. Remember the song Hero? Urges. See? So I just need him to know, I need you to know where I'm coming from when I say it. That's an insider for me and him because I am very private about stuff like that, but he knows what I mean now by meaningless.
But at the end of the day, so it was meaningless in the sense that you weren't seeking an emotional connection, but at the end of the day, you still loved him. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely 100.
It's the act of meaningless sex doesn't mean that you don't care for the person. I think that is...
I agree with you. I think, to me, the only little extra I'll throw in there, the little Mohazel sprinkle I'll throw in there is, if it is still all meaningless after you are married, please communicate that with your partner, because both of y'all ain't having meaningless sex 24/7 in a marriage. And maybe so. I'm not saying it isn't. Wait, hang on. I'm not saying you can't. I'm not shaming. What I'm saying is, if you are, then make sure you have the conversation and be like, babe, I'm just straight horny. Is that all right with you? Yeah, boo, I'm horny too. Okay, keep it moving. Keep it grooving.
Yeah.
But if it isn't, when intimacy is important to your partner, you need to make it a priority to get to there, to be on the same page.
And then
if you truly love them.
And you
don't feel pressure to, but if you truly love them and want to grow with them, then you need to do what you got to do to get there.
Because for every
that makes sense?
Yes, because sex is not necessarily intimate, or the level of intimacy that everyone needs.
Sure.
So there may be another level or something else that gives that person that feeling of love and intimacy.
You need to make sure.
Yes, you have to understand. You have to understand. Yes, you have to understand that.
Yeah.
Because some people have traumas around sex and stuff like that,
Absolutely.
which could lead that not to be an intimate
or feel sexy.
Yes. So you gotta break that down, and you grow with each other on that though.
And it's a vulnerable space.
And as far as the most vulnerable space, because it's vulnerable when emotions are attached, but when it's truly meaningless,
I am talking about when it's emotion.
Okay.
No, if it's no, I'm sorry. To be 100% clear, when one or both of us agree that it's intimate.
Yeah.
It is a vulnerable place. Absolutely. I'm
your
sorry.
I will clean that up. Yeah, because your emotions are attached.
It just is what it is.
Yes.
Get it in how you can fit it.
Ass out, baby.
It just needs to be on the same page all the time. Every time. You can't just say, hey, I want a threesome. Bro, y'all, that's a conversation. You can't just say, hey, I brought Becky to the room. Why? I mean, we have meaningless sex, right? No, we're not. You know what I mean? You can't introduce these crazy meaningless things and expect that person to be on the same page without the conversation.
Yeah.
So we'll wrap up. I'm satisfied. You satisfied? You will never be satisfied.
Oh God, I knew it was going into Hamilton.
Woo! Ow!
Lord have mercy.
So I'll wait for it. Your final thought. Tell us your final thought.
I'm not giving her any Hamilton references now.
What is the aha to get from this conversation?
Have a conversation.
Listen, for the record, I'm going to let you finish, but we broke tech support because he was ignoring, but Hamilton brought him back in. I just want you to know, I know how to get tech support to engage.
Your corniness brought him back in. That's what it was.
Aww.
Anyways, so I think the moral is you got to have these conversations, but you have to be open to listening to what the other person's saying.
I'll say, before you judge your partner on their intimacy level, wear their shoes, understand, like you said, their traumas, their fatigue, thoughts on intimacy before you really start pinpointing, or finger blaming for what doesn't occur in the marriage at the frequency that you require it. Because her bringing that up, I'm not saying he didn't know that, but even if he knew it, it apparently didn't matter to him.
Well, I think some of it from a man's perspective, and not to dig back deeper into it, but men equate that with desire and wanting. So I shouldn't have to do anything. You should automatically want me. So
because I want you.
So when you don't want me, what does
that mean?
Get defensive. You know what I'm saying? Like a man gets defensive, like,
because I'm taking you as you are. Take me as I am. What's
not
up?
Understanding that it got nothing to do with you, boo.
It did because I had your kids, but outside of that,
yeah. But like, they don't link it to all that,
right.
So it becomes
it needs to be a bigger picture.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I enjoyed this topic. So, petty word of the day. Oh, she's excited. Jeez. So petty word of the day. It's where we take a pretty word out the dictionary and we learn it, absorb it, and we teach it to you. So we decide to have you learn it the way we learn it, in pretty petty sentences. And with that being said, Ms. Glam, you are up first.
My petty word is a noun, and it's bugbear.
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 Yes. And it means, and it's actually spelled...
Two animals.
No, it's one word. It's spelled Bugbear.
Okay.
Bugbear.
Mm-hmm.
It means a continuing source of irritation.
Wow.
My sentence. I am positive my morning antics when I call Mohazel are a bugbear to tech support, and I love it.
He flips through phone. He's not even...
That's okay.
Oh, he did look up.
That's okay.
He's shaking his head.
My morning antics tomorrow will remind him of this sentence while I get my giggles.
All right.
Because he's off, and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy irritating you.
My word, batherskite. Batherskite. It's a noun. A person who talks at great length without making much sense. Ms. Glam, do you think the reason tech support was absent most of this season is because he thinks we're batherskites?
No, I think it's because we're smarter than him and he can't follow along.
Dang. Shots fired. No comment?
Bugbear.
No comment.
Bugbear.
You know what that is? He said, you know what? I had the interview. They told me they were going to give me a call back, so I'm just going to be quiet because I'm going to have the last laugh when I turn my pink slip in. That's that I'm done with this job, and I'm just going to sit here and be quiet and collect this check because I've been applying, and I've got some interviews, and I got some potentials.
You live
I'm
here.
waiting for callbacks.
You live here.
That is hilarious. Well, Ms. Glam, I enjoyed this episode with you.
It really is.
I mean,
one more show.
One more show. So today is the last before the season finale.
Yes.
All right. And then after that, please know we take a month off and then we'll come back with a brand new season with some surprises and some updates. But you'll get the two same girls with the two same energy and the two same petty. So with that being said, Ms. Glam.
Until next time.
And we are out.